Okay, guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on wherever you're watching this video from. Okay, guys, we had a class yesterday and we sincerely apologize for the technical glitch we had. So today is going to be continuation of yesterday's class. So yesterday we stopped at um, the tools needed for this lesson. Okay, the needed tools um, for this class. So, and we mentioned that for this class, we'll be using an IDE. Okay, we talked about what an IDE is, and we mentioned that the one we are going to use is VS Code. Okay, VS Code. But before that, I want to recap, okay, what we talked about yesterday. So we talked about HTML, right? As one of the tools needed, or one of the thing needed to build a website. Okay, we talked about CSS as well. We talked about JavaScript, and we explained that HTML gives a website a structure. Okay, um, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it gives our website a structure, right? And we also mentioned that CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, which helps us to style our website. Okay, CSS, helps us to add some beautification. Okay, just like when you build a house and then you paint it. So, think of CSS that way, right? And for JavaScript, gives our website the logic, needed for functionality, right? Are we together? So, guys, if you can hear me, please, I want you to give me a thumbs up, um, and also comments on the chats. Let me know if you are following us. Okay, so um, we want to go over a few things that we mentioned yesterday, and one of it is to. We also talked about the tools that we'll need for this class. So that um, by now we have our VS Code installed. For those of us that don't have VS Code installed, I am going to share my screen now. Okay, so and I will show us the process again. But if before I do that, let me go over how the internet works. Okay, how does the web work? Okay, so if you can still recall, right, we talked about clients, we talked about server, and we talked about response. We talked about requests as well. Okay, so um, in software development or software engineering, we are going to hear a lot about clients, requests and servers. And I want you to think of, getting something from a friend, right? Asking something and as well getting something from a friend, right? So you ask, right? You ask, can you give me this, right? Give me this, please, right? And your friend will either say yes or no or maybe wait, right? Your friend may either give you or not give you, right, what you ask for. And whether he or she gives you or not, those are example of a response, whether it is positive or not. They're all responses. Okay, so the client is your browser. And what is a browser? A browser is an application, a software that helps you to access website, that helps you to access web pages. Okay, that is a browser, right? And and um, it can as well be regarded as the client. Okay, it is oftentimes called the client. So when you hear someone, refer to in web development, when you hear clients, you know that it is the user of that application, right? Is the client is the user of that application. Are we together? And then your browser helps you, right, to make that request. So request, just like the request we know is asking, right? So request is just asking, can you give me this? Please give me this. I need this. That's you asking. That's a request, right? And that's what you're seeing on the screen. HTTP request, okay? HTTP request, and um, it basically means you are making a request. You're asking for a resource to you're asking for a resource, from a source, right? And um, when you ask, what happens? You wait for a response. You wait for a reply. Are we together? So that is that for a request, right? And when you make this request to, right, is actually because referred to the server. Okay, you make this request to a server. So we talked about servers being computers, right, that helps us access the internet um 247. Okay, that is why most websites you're going to see, right, just like the journal you see here, whether it's night, you access their website any time of the day, right? It's going to be live and you can access it, right? So that is that. So the server helps us to process our request. Okay, so when you build a website, website, resides on a computer, right? Computer that is online 247 and not your own. Okay, and not your own. So um, why is it that way? Your computer may go off, right? You may be disconnected from the internet. And what it means is that if your application was hosted right on that your computer that just shuts down or gets disconnected, it means that if someone tries to access your site, it's going to be down, right? It's not going to be accessible, right? So that is why we need servers. Servers helps us, to keep our website live, 247 anytime we access them, and it helps us to process, requests and gives us, back a response. Okay, guys. So I want you to give me a thumbs up. Um, Say if you're following me, I want to be sure that you can hear me very well. You're following me. So um, give me a response. I need a thumbs up. Hi, let me know if um, you're following me. So let me know if you have any questions so far from what I discussed. If there's anything I didn't explain well or you didn't follow, just let me know, right? So I don't skip things that you don't understand. So yes, another thing we want to talk about is domain. Okay, so in web development, you're going to hear domains and servers a whole lot of time. Okay, domains and servers a whole lot of time, and it is very important for you to know how they work, right, and why they work that way. Okay, so think of something you want to deliver something to someone. First of all, you need to start from somewhere. You need your own location, right? And you as well need the location of where that parcel is going to. Are we together? You need the location, you know, of that package, right? So and relating that to what we have on the screen, right? So, domain is basically the website address, which can be www.anything.com, right? www.anything.com. Let's say www.facebook.com, right? Or www dot whatever jumia.com.ng and different website address that we all know, right? So that's an example of a domain. And the domain is actually what users are going to access. So the domain is what users are going to access. So users are going to type, your domain in the browser. And that is why you're able to type, say www. Um, facebook.com, right? tiktok.com, and then you go to TikTok website or Facebook website, right? So that's an example of a domain, right? It is the website address, right? And then we as well have DNS. Okay, so DNS are actually internet maps. It helps your domain to have direction. Okay, it gives your domain a direction to a particular location, right? Where it is hosted. Remember, we talked about servers, being used, for hosting, our applications, right? So DNS, you can take note of that. DNS, domain name server, okay, domain name server, and then you as well have hosting. Okay, so I talked about hosting being, um, you don't have to host your application on the computer. Why? Because if it shuts down, right, then that application is done, right? That's where servers comes in, and you actually host the application on another computer, right, on another server, right? So that process is called hosting, right? Where you take the application right from your computer and then put it and make it accessible on another computer, right? And that's that's hosting, guys, right? So let me know if you have any question concerning that, and I will answer. I will answer if you have any question. If you have any question, just let me know. If there's anything you don't understand so far, is it domain, is it DNS, is it hosting, right? Let me know, and I'm going to explain that again, right? So um, that is that. So let's go over that again, right? So when you access a particular website, what happens? You type the domain request, request to a server. That server can either give you a positive response or a negative response. Okay, all of those are response, and we're going to talk about that. Okay, there are different types of responses, right? So you are going to hear about 404. If some of us have 404 or have heard of 404, right? Where you go to a web page, you see something like page not found. Okay, so that's an example of a response. It means that that particular thing you are looking for is not there, right? That particular resource you are looking for is not there, right? It's not found. So it gives you 404, right? So we as well have 403, right? Forbidden, where you try to get a resource that you don't have access to, right? For example, now if you want to go to dashboard without logging in, right, you're going to get an error. Why? Because you have to log in first before you try to go to your dashboard. Right? That is how the application will know. You have to log in first. That's how the application will know that you are authenticated, you are eligible to access what you're looking for. Just like having an ID, right? You want to travel, right? Or you want to enter a reserved um event, right? So certain persons were invited, and you need that invitation card to be able to go inside, right, and attend the event. So if you don't have, so that invitation card now becomes an ID, right? So it becomes an authenticated sort of let me call it identity. Okay, so that invitation card gives you an identity, makes your identity valid, to be able to access that resource, which in this case is entering the event place, right? So um guys, that is how the whole thing works under the hood. Okay, that's how it works under the hood. So um that is that, right? So there are many other concepts, that we all need to understand. There are many other concepts that we all need to understand. And in the course of this class, we are going to talk about them, right? So if you happen to hear of any concept you don't understand, you can always drop it in the community. Okay, you can always drop it in the community, right? And um, okay, so Okay, so someone said I should explain DNS again. So remember I said that DNS stands for um, domain name system, right? Domain name system, right? So it's actually what gives your website, right, a location, right? So this is how it works. So if you type www dot so let's say patrick.com, right? Now um each domain is associated with what they call an IP address, right? Each domain has an IP address, right? And that IP address helps, in finding that particular domain in a particular server that it is hosted in any part of the world. Okay. So when you access your internet, you have an IP address, and that IP address is what is used to identify you online, right? That's what is used to identify you online. That's what helps you to access any website, right? If you don't have, an IP address, you cannot access any resource online. Okay, though for some of us, we have heard of VPN, right? Where you used to have, a virtual um, IP, right, or an IP that changes or doesn't reflect the exact location. So if you're browsing, internet from Nigeria, right, you should have a Nigeria, designated IP address. That once you use that IP address to try to load a website that is in, the US, right, or UK, right, it should, uniquely tell that this is where you are coming from. This is the host, right? This is the host. This is the origin of this particular request. Remember, it's all about request and response. So if someone comes to you and says, your friend Patrick, says I should get this from you, and you don't know the location of Patrick, right? It makes it very hard for you to, give that your friend what he or she asks for to give to Patrick. Why? Because you don't know where Patrick is, right? So, but if you know that Patrick is, your next door neighbor, right? And someone sends, you send someone a message and say, okay, Patrick said I should get this from you. Oh, it rings the bell that okay, it's my next door neighbor Patrick. I know him, right? And you know, the fact that you know the origin of that request, makes it easier to get a response. So if you try to access the internet, right, without an IP address, it's definitely not going to work. Okay, it's not going to work, right? So DNS is just like a way of navigating, right? Navigating, right? And locating help you locate a particular address, right, on the network. So it's like internet phone book, right? Translating human-friendly domain names, right? Let's say, for example, www. If you mention facebook.com or google.com, right? It will now translate it into an IP address, right? Remember, I said that all of us that are accessing the internet, as you are browsing now, right, as you are on YouTube now, or whatever platform that you are now, you have an IP address, right? And that's what helps you to be able to access that resource. Else, you won't be able to access it, right? So, you know, it helps to translate human-friendly domain, right? So, example, www.yourname.com into machine-readable addresses, right? So, machines read IP address and not www.google.com. That's not what the machine read. The machine read IP addresses. Okay, so and then it helps devices to find each other and load website without users remembering complex numbers, right? So it just helps in you know um, giving direction. Are we together? So um, that is that, right? That is that. So I believe we'll move to something else. We'll move to something else. And um, please, do you understand that? Okay, someone asks, Someone asks, are those domain paid for or they are free? Okay, guys, domains are not all domains are paid for. Okay, so not all domains are paid for, but a good domain, a professional domain, right, is paid for. Right? So, for example, um, I see your username is that, right? I don't know your real name, right? But I'm seeing that's 4220 here, right? So let's say we have um, we have w.dats.com. Okay, now .com domain is not free. Okay, .com is paid. Some you see .ng like Jumia dot Jumia.com or .com.ng or .ng, right? You have chichi.ng. Those domains are not are not free, right? They're not free. They're paid for, right? Because they are standards, right? They are standard that bodies or organizations that are responsible for giving that out, right? They are corporate bodies and it is business, okay? It's business. They're not going to give it for free, right? They're not going to give it for free. So yes, that's for that. And um also, right, for this class, there are we are going to have we are going to use a method which will help us to have a free domain. Why? Because if you are just starting, you are just learning, you don't have to go and pay for domain, right? There are companies that gives free domain for you to be able to see your practice, your practical work or your what you are learning with, right? So if you are learning, you don't have to go and buy domain for now, right? You can buy that later. But if you are learning, and you just want to see your website live, right? Or you want to send your website to a friend that is in the you know any other parts of the world, right? Um, you don't have to just go to say you want to buy first before you do that. The website that gives you that for free, right? And in the course of this class we are going to learn about that. So for those of for those of us, right, for those of us that have heard of Vessel, right, there are Vessel. This platform can give you domain for free, right? There are okay, all right, Miracle, please. I hope you are following. I hope you understood the explanation. And also, um, we have Netlify, right? We have Render. There are a lot of platforms you can just host your website for free, right? For free while you are learning or while you are practicing, right? So, um, but professional website, if you want to get .com, if you want to get .org, .tech, right? .ng, right? You are going to buy, those ones, right? Buy those ones, right? So please confirm if you understood up to that point. Confirm if you understood up to that point. So let's give an analogy, right? So DNS is like the phone book of the internet. So when you want to save your friends, um, when you want to save your friends' contacts, right? You save it, by the phone number, and then you can remember them, with the name, right? But you actually save the phone number. The phone number is what you use to call them, right? So computers understands the number, which is the IP address we talked about, right? So the domain name system, is what connects the two. When you type google.com to your browser, DNS looks it up and says, "Oh, you mean this guy on the internet, this particular guy, right, on the internet," and then it gives you the IP of that guy, right? It gives you the IP of that particular person, and remember, the IP now is now translated to a domain which can be www.anything.com, right? And then it takes you to that website. Okay. So instead of memorizing someone's phone number, you save their name, right? Don't I For me, I hardly memorize, phone numbers, right? I know some people are very good at that. Maybe some people on this call can memorize everybody's, phone number on their contact list, right? But I think the easier way is to memorize their name instead of the number. Like you save them in a name that you will be able to look up, right, or remember. Are we together? So that is that, right? And please, if you have any question, if you have any question, I want you to ask before we move to something else. So I'll give this time for questions. Is there anything you don't understand? Is there anything you don't understand? Can we proceed? Please give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Can we proceed? Do you understand up to this point? Okay, so someone asked which of the domain are free, right? So I mentioned Vessel. So when you post your website with Vessel, are going to be free are going to be associated with the company that is giving that domain for free, right? So the companies that gives domain for free are going to be so when Vessel, for example, gives you domain for free, so it will not be www, it can be www dot lizzy dot vessel dot app. Okay, they are going to attach their domain, so they're going to give you a subdomain. All right, so we'll talk about um all of those, right? So the companies cannot give you .ng for free, okay, .com, just www.lizzy.com for free. You have to buy that, right? For a company to give you a domain for free, maybe for you to practice what you're learning, right? They will attach their name, their company name to that domain. Let's say, for example, www. Um, Rayon, right? Dot Netlify dot app, right? So that is how it works. But for other professional domains, right, you're going to pay for it altogether. You're going to pay for it. Abigail. Hello? Okay, so let's move to something else. Let's move to something else. And um, for those of us that don't have this installed, for those of us that don't have this application installed, I'm going to share my screen here so you can see it again. So please confirm if you can see my screen, right? So I am searching vscodedownload.com, right? And then this is the application you need for this class, okay? So type I search VS Code, VS Code download, and you know um first website here is what I'm going to click on. So if you click on this, right, you have options, for different operating system. So here is Windows, right? Here is Linux, and here is Mac, right? So Macintosh, right? So if you're using Windows operating system, then you have to download this. you're using Linux, depending on the, you also have to choose the distribution of Linux, you know, suitable for your device. Okay, and if you're using Mac OS, then you have to install um, this, right? So go ahead and install this, right? Download this and then install. So this is how it's the interface looks like, right? Let me share. Okay, so confirm if you can see my screen. Okay, so this is how VS Code looks like. Okay, this is how VS Code looks like, and you have different tabs here. So you can click here and create a file. So I'm going to create a file. I'll call that file index.html. Okay. So remember we talked about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? And we see that those three things I just mentioned are used for creating websites, right? So um, this is HTML, and notice that it ended with the HTML, right? So I am going to write some HTML code, and so I'll start with doc type, right? Start with doc type, and I'm going to run this with HTML, right? So um, after starting with HTML, right, I am going to so I'm going to write my title here. So I'll call this um, um, so this has to be inside, right? So HTML title, and right, so what we are going to have is one part, right? So I'm just going to copy this. So I am as well going to change this to So, so I want to believe that we all have this, right? I want to believe we all have this code written, right? So this is the just like think of documents, right? The documents have, you know, a title, right? And then you have the title on top, and then you now have the body, you know, the contents, right? Which is always the body, right? So I want us to have this code type. I believe you can say this. So um, this H1 we are seeing here stands for heading. Okay, so heading one, heading two, heading three, heading four, heading five. So heading one is going to be bigger than two, two is going to be bigger than three, three is going to be bigger than four. So this is an example of heading, right? So I'll go ahead and um, now, I told us about an extension that you have to download, right? I call that extension Lifesaver, right? So if you come here, right? So this is free. Click on view and then you click on extensions, okay? And search for Lifesaver, right? Lifesaver, right? Download this extension, okay? So why do we need this extension? We want to be able to we want to be able to um, see the results without refreshing our browser. Okay, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. I already have it installed. So if I click on go live, right? If I click on go live, it's going to open this on my browser, right? So if I now make changes, let's say I now make changes, um, and I say P, right? I say um, this is a paragraph tag. Okay, this B stands for paragraph. Okay, while H stands for heading. So we have heading one, heading two, heading three to six, right? So, um, so if I now come here, right, I automatically see this, right? Now, without the live server, we should have saved it first, right? Before we we reload, and once you reload, you now see the changes. Okay, you reload, you now see the changes. So that is why we needed that server, okay, to host it locally for us, and then we see the result instantly. Okay, so I want to believe we follow up to this point. So this is the syntax. Okay, um, doc type, so this tells the web page that this is an HTML document, okay, and then it's an HTML content. This is the heading, okay, this is the head, and then this is the body, okay, this is the body. So this H here pre tags, right? So when you use H1, right, and H2, you definitely know that H1 is going to be bigger than H2, right? And that's what we add here. So this H1, this H2, this H3, H4, 5, and 6, right? So that is how that works. This is how that works. So do we have any question? Okay. So can you see it clearly now? Can you see it clearly now? So please confirm if you can see it clearly now. Confirm if you can see it clearly now. Are you following me? Have you run this code? Is it working at your end? So let me know if you've typed this and it's working at your end. So these things here are called tags, okay? These are called tags, HTML tags, right? These are HTML tags, right? And this is B tag for paragraph, this is for heading, right? We also have other tags. So if I want to um let's say let's make another paragraph. Um this bold letters, okay? And then if I put this in a B tag, right? If I put this in a B tag, right? So this letter is going to be bold. So we all know what how texts are bold. So let's look this in our browser, right? Then you see that this is bold. Okay, this is bold. Why this is not bold? Okay. So we also have underline. We can underline a text. So we can say um, we have italics, right? And we also have underline, right? Um, this I here stands for italics and this U stands for underline. So it means that this paragraph is going to be underlined. Okay, this line is going to be underlined. So let's look that up. You see, this is italics and this is underline, right? Italics underline. This is bold. Okay. So guys, um, I want to see if you all are following. If you followed up to this point, you can screenshot and send the picture, maybe in the community. Let me see if you followed up to this point, right? So I believe if you see this on the web page, you can all recognize this. So this is H1 to 6, right? This is a paragraph, right? This is a bold paragraph. This is paragraph as well, but italics, okay? Italics, and this is underlined, right? This is underlined. So we have many others, right? We have many others, and um, we have other tags. So we can have you know, section tag, right? Um, this is an example of a section tag. Okay, we have different tag. Okay, we have different tags. Um, we have um, we have the BR, right, which is the break tag. So if I want this to be in the next line, I can just say BR, right? BR, and this is going to be on the next line on the page, right? You see, takes it to the next line. But if I remove it, it's going to stay on one line. Right? So um, BR takes, a text, to the next line. Altogether, BR takes a text to the next line. So, guys, this I want you to continue. If you are following me. Okay, so I will give us some time to type this code. I'll give us some time to type this code, and um, let me know if it is working. Let me know if it's working. Okay, presumably it's working for you. What about others? Give me a thumbs up if it's working. Give me a thumbs up if it's working. Give me a comment. Is it working? Okay, are we done? Are you guys done? So please let me know if you followed up to that point. So another thing we want to talk about is um so we have button and you can say click me. Okay, right? So click me, right? And this is an example of a button. So if you check this, if you check this, right? This is a button. Okay, this is an example of a button, right? This is an example of a button. And what if you want to add color to this? That is where HTML comes in. Okay, that's where HTML comes in. And sorry, that's where CSS comes in. Sorry about that. That's where CSS comes in. Okay, that's where CSS comes in. And um, for now, let us focus on this, and we are going to style it later when we learn CSS. Okay, so this is a button, right? We can also have an input field. Okay, you can have an input field, right? And the syntax is this, right? And right. So so for each for input field, right? We have we have we have different types. So we can have um type of so if you have type of password, right? Then um then whatever you type here is going to be a password. It's going to appear like password. Okay. But if you type this to be a text, then whatever you type here is a text. Okay, you can type here, right? So this is a button and this is an input field, right? So there's also what we call placeholder. Okay, placeholder. Um, type your um, text here. Okay, so um, so those inner text that you always see inside input field, right, is what we call placeholder. Please confirm if you are following me. Please, I want to know if you are following me. Please confirm if you are following me, right? So, if you look at this very well, right, you see this inner text, right? But when you want to type my text, right, they actually go away. So this is an example of this this inner text where you see type your text here. That's an example of placeholder, right? That's an example of placeholder. Are we together? So I believe you understand up to this point. I believe you understand up to this point. So another thing we're going to talk about is we can add images, right? So how to add images to a website. Okay. So um, I'm going to make this be a comment, right? So there's what we call comments. So comment is used to explain your code, right? So if you add a comment to your code, right, that comment is not going to appear on your website. Okay, that comment is not going to appear on your website. So if you look at our website now, right, you don't see this, you will not see this, right? You will not see this, right? You will not see it. Why? Because this is a comment, just like writing something somewhere down, right? Without writing the actual note, you just jot it down somewhere so that you reference it right in your main notes, right? So that's what we are doing here. That's what we are doing here. So how to add images to your website. So we are going to have ing, right? Ing, and then we're going to have source to be equals to. So we are going to um, pictures of flowers. Okay. So okay. So I am going to let me click on this. Okay. That was too big. So let us think I should. So let's see if this is not going to be too big. So guys, to insert a picture, let's have to insert a picture in your website. Okay. So you can as well insert a video. Okay. You can as well insert a video, right? So I'll see on your website. Okay. So this is going to be a comment, right? So guys, this is a comment. So take notes. It starts with less than, exclamation mark, and hyphen, right? And closes with hyphen, and greater than. Okay. So this is how you write comments. This is how you write a comment. So please, if you are following me, if you are following me up to this point, yes, yes, this session is being recorded. Okay, this session is being recorded, and this session is being recorded, so you can watch it later, right? So let's continue, right? Let's continue, guys. So, how you can actually add videos to your website is what we want to achieve right now. So, to add a video to your website, you can have um, video, right? And then inside here, you're going to have the source, right? So, um, I am going to get um, I'm going to get a video online. So let's see um, car videos. Let us see if I can get a car video and insert that. So I am going to save this video as car video. Okay, so I'm going to save this video as car videos to um, I'm going to save it to my documents inside my code base, right? So my code base, I am going to uh, sorry guys, give me some minutes. Let me move this to our projects folder. Okay, so someone said I'm too fast. I am going to take it slowly again. I'm going to take it slowly again and confirm if you can see my screen. So now, can you see my screen? Okay, so um, I have moved I have moved the video here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I will just um, reference this video, right? And another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to specify the type of this video. Okay, so this is video type, and it is MP4. Okay, PDF type, and it is MP4, right? So we currently have an error here. Why? Because we have not closed this source. Okay, so we need to close this source, right? And um, if everything is working well, then our video should show. Okay, so um, please, can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen? I am sharing my screen now. I am sharing my screen. I have been sharing my screen. Please confirm. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen now? Oh my god. I am actually sharing my screen now. Okay, guys. I don't know what's going on, but I am sharing my screen right now. Is it showing now? Okay, then it means you're seeing my screen. Okay, so so this is a video and it's showing. Okay, it's showing. So in HTML, there's what we call attributes. Okay, there are what we call attributes. What you're seeing here is an example of an attribute. Okay, so attribute adds special should I call it character or characteristic or feature to an HTML tag. Okay, so guys, please take notes what we've been doing so far. Okay, HTML is made up of tag. Okay, so this is opening tag and this is um, closing tag. Okay, this is opening tag and this is closing tag. Okay, um, closing tag. Okay, right? So, right? Closing tag. This is what I mean. Closing tag. Okay, and this is um, opening tag. Okay, so this is opening tag and this is closing tag. Okay, opening tag, closing tag. So HTML is made up of tags. Okay, opening tag and closing tag, right? So right now, I am currently sharing my screen and I don't know what is going on. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen? Okay, I think it's showing now. Can you see my screen now? Hello, please, if you can see my screen, write me a message. Say I need a thumbs up. Can you see my screen? Okay, all right. If it's visible now, so this is what I was trying to do. We wanted to add first. We added a picture, right? We added a picture, right? And now we are adding a video. Okay, so this is the code to add a video, right? So if you look at this, this is where we added the button, right? This is where we added the input field, right? And this is where we added a picture, right? This is where we added a picture. So if you look at this is the picture that we added, right? This is the picture that we added. And then if you look at this also, right? This is the code for the video we just added, right? Right? This is the code to the video we just added. And and if you notice something, our video is not playing. Okay, our video is not playing. Why? It's not playing because we've not completed what we should complete here. Okay, so I talked about attributes, right? So this SRC you are seeing here stands for source. So if you want to put an image, then you should specify the source, right? You want to put an image, you should specify where that image is coming from, right? So, and the same thing with video, right? You should specify where that video is coming from. So in our case, right, it is coming from here. So I copied it and put it in this folder that I am working with. Okay, I copy it and put in this folder that I am working with, right? So that is where this one is coming from. This one is coming from an online website. I've coming from a website, right? Coming from istockphoto.com, right? So these are example of an attribute, right? This as well is an example of an attribute. Placeholder type the example of an attribute, right? So attribute helps you to add extra properties, right, to an HTML tag. Please, did you get that right? Attributes helps to add extra helps us to add extra properties, right, to an element in our website, right? So guys, um sorry, where are we? Okay, so um with that being said, let us go ahead and um, add some additional attributes. So if we add controls, okay, if you add controls to this video tag, right? I've just added control. So this control is an example of an attribute, right? So and then if you now come here, right, if you now come to this our video, right? Our video now has some um control, right? Features that helps us to play our video. Okay, guys, did you notice that if you remove this control, right? You remove this control, your video does not have um you know anything that will make it play. So it's just a video like that. It cannot play, you cannot play it, right? But if you put back controls, right, and you look at this, right, it now gives you option to play or pause it. It gives you option to um you know play full screen, right? And gives you option to download it, playback, and others. Are we together, guys? So that's how you can add a video, right? That's how you can add a video. So confirm if are following and if you followed me up to this point. So I want us to um I want us to take a look at this. Did you follow up to this point? Did you follow up to this point? Do you have a question? Ask me a question. Is there anything you don't understand up to this point? So also
Payment received in OPay.
also you can add an audio to your um website. So right. So please, I want us to confirm. Can you follow me? Are you following me? Did you follow up to this point? Are you lost? Are you lost? Do you understand? Is there anything I should go back and explain again? Do you understand up to this point? Okay, so I want to believe all understand up to this point. So let us proceed with adding audio to our website. Let's proceed with adding an audio to our website. Okay, let's proceed with adding an audio to our website. And to add an audio to our website is very simple. You just use audio. Okay, you just use the audio. Okay, and the same thing you did here. The same thing you did here, right? Same thing you did here. You also do it here. Okay, so you have source rights and um, rights. So um, this will now be, you know, um, uh, so your audio.mp3. Okay, and then you can have type to be audio. Okay, and um, mpeg. Okay, so this is basically specifying the type of audio this is going to be, and this is going to be a directory, right? So you can bring in an audio here. Okay, you can bring in an audio here, and then you reference it just like we did with, just like we did with the video, right? You can as well download, you can as well get a link online and insert it here. Okay, so I want you guys to try this and send your answer to the community. Okay, I want you guys to try this and send your answer to the community. Okay, you can send a recording, right? If you are able to insert this audio and it's playing, right? If you are able to insert an audio and it's playing, I want you to send a screen and recording and send it to the community. Okay, so um, this is the task for um, today's class. Okay, this is the task for today's class. So if you're able to do this, let us know. Okay, and yes, we are going to give an answer to that in the next class. Okay, so for now, that remains your classwork. Let us continue. Okay, let us continue. So just know that the same thing that you did here, right? You can also have controls here. Okay, you can also have controls here. So remember, these are your comments. Okay, and these comments are not going to show on the website. These comments are not going to show on the website. So guys, um, the reason why this is not playing is because it cannot find the file. Okay, it cannot find the file. So if I remove control as well, right? You see, um, you can't even find. Okay, you can't even find it, right? So guys, that is that's for audio. I want you guys to go back and try that and let us know if it is working. Okay, so guys, another thing we want to talk about is um links. Okay, another thing we want to talk about is link. Okay, so there's what we call hyperlink in HTML. Okay, so we call hyperlink. So link is basically used to um, let me run that to navigate between different web pages. Okay, so um, and this is how you navigate between different web pages. So you say A and then href, right? So um, this is going to be your link, right? And click here to go to um, to go to right. So I'll now write softzenith.com. Okay. So what this is going to do is that if this is a link. So if you click on this, right, it is going to take you to www.softzenith.com, right? So let us try that, right? Let us try that. But I am going to put break tag here, right? So that that will be on the next line. So click this again. So if I click on this, right? Um, okay, guys, this should be I don't know where we still routed to. Give me a second, guys. So okay, guys, are you still following me? Let me explain what I've just done. Please, are you still following me? Are you still following me, please? Can you see my screen? Are you following? Okay, so um what I did here, okay, I added targets blank, right? So targets blank is used to open this link. What this does is it's open this link in another tab. Okay, it's open this link in another tab. So if you notice, right, this is this is where we were, right? This is where we were. So if you click on this, right, it opens its um okay. So um so it opens that in another tab, right? That is for link. Okay, that's for link, guys. That's how you can add links. Okay, that's how you can add links to whatever website you want to attach to your own website, right? So once you click on that, it takes you to another page. Okay, so um that is that for link. Is there any question so far? Please ask questions. Is there anything you don't understand? Ask questions. I'll be waiting for questions. Guys, are you following? Did you get me up to this point? Did you get me up to this point? So guys, if you notice, if you notice here, if I offer my mouse here, right, you see HTML title, okay? So if I should change this and say this is the HTML title, right? And you come here, right? It changes to this is the HTML title, right? So this is what gives the document, the page, a title, okay? And it is what you see here, okay? So classwork for this class is go and find out what is a favicon, okay? So assignment, right? So this, right? This is the assignment for this class, right? So that's the assignment for this class, and I want us to give an answer to this on the community. Okay, give an answer to this on the community, right? And we are going to continue from there. But the last thing we are going to, okay, so um, this is what I want us to do. This is what I want us to do. Um, Duplicate the class as assignments. Okay. The first thing is um, do this, and then you can do this later. So the assignments, which is very very important for you to do, is to replicate this class as assignment. Okay, replicate the class as assignment, right? Right. Replicate the class as assignment, and we want to see h1 to 6, right? h1 to 6. Okay, so h1 to 6, remember h1 is heading 1, heading 2. So these are the heading tag, this is the body tag, right? So we have the P tag, we have bold, we have italics, we have the underline, right? We have the section tag, right? We have button. These are you can put buttons, right? These are you can put buttons. Um, so buttons, right? And we have the inputs, okay? Inputs where you can type something, right? Type something, right? And here you can as well have email, okay? You can as well have email here, right? And this is how you can put images, right? This is how you can put videos. This is how you can put audio, right? This is how you can go to the next line. So break, takes you to the next line, right? And this is how you can put a link, in your website. Okay, so when we click on this, it takes us to softzenith.com, right? So remember I told you that this target blank takes you to the next, to opens the link in a different tab. Okay, it opens the link in a different tab. And um, your assignments, right? Assignment for this class is to replicate this um, today's class, right? Whatever we did in today's class, replicate it, and you should have each tag. You should have, your text, your underlined text, your bold text, right? And um, you should put images. You should be able to put different, pictures and videos. You can put up to two, images, two videos, right? You should have a working audio. Okay, this one I did here. This one I added here. I did not put a valid audio, so you can put audio here, right? You can put audio here, or you can, get a link from the internet and put here, audio link from the internet and put here, right? And you should have it working. So your own, once you click here, you should be able to, it should play, right? It should play. So yeah, that is that is it, guys. That is it, guys. And ensure you drop, your assignments in the community. So I will send this code to the community. Okay. I will share this code with the community. So guys, that is it. That is it for today's class. That is it for today's class. Thank you. I will see you in the next class. Please, is there any question? Is there any question? You can ask your question. Yes. So you can submit it as a file. Okay. You can submit it as a file, right? But um, more information about the submission is going to be on the community, right? So just stay active in the group. All right, guys, that is it. Thank you, guys, and bye. See you in the next class. Just submit it, and the community. Don't post it yet. I will show you guys how to post it. You learn how to host it, please. Don't worry about posting for now.